What's up, guys? How you doing? This is another album review right here. I'm excited for this one. I actually filmed a reaction to this a long time ago, and the sound wasn't what I wanted it to be. I couldn't fix it, so I decided not to upload it. But this has been a long time coming right here. This thing was released on June 8th. It is by a band called Yob from the Pacific Northwest. This band has been around for a little while now. I found out about them back in college. They had an album, I think it was called Clearing the Path to Ascend. And at the time, I wasn't really in the mood for some slow, brooding, heavy music. I was more into the speed, technicality, the progressive stuff, so I didn't really give them much of a chance. But I'm really sad that I didn't at the time, because this is an amazing band. So what to say about this album? This is my first experience with Yob's music. Of course, I'm talking about the 2018 album Our Raw Heart. Yeah, this is a fantastic album. My favorite tracks are Ablaze, The Screen, In Reverie, Beauty and Falling Leaves, and the title track, the closer, Our Raw Heart. The other tracks, Lungs Reach and Original Face, aren't poor tracks by any means. They didn't strike the same chord with me as these other ones did. So, what makes this album good? So, number one is just the raw power and the raw sound that comes through with this album. The guitar, the bass, everything is just so crushing. And when you listen to it, it literally feels like the songs are like blasting your body, the cells of your body with bass and distortion. And if you just lie back and listen to this thing, it literally feels like you're being massaged. Like, it's a very visceral album. So heavy. Like, I can't stress that enough. If you have a good stereo, this album is one of those rare albums that really you can't really appreciate it to its fullest, in my opinion, unless you can play it loud and unless you have a good stereo. So just take some time, listen to this album at a high volume, plenty of bass, lay back and let these chord progressions and these different changes in the music, and let the sound sort of just wash over you. And you'll thank me for it later, because it's an experience that you're not going to find very often in music. Like I said in the Neurosis concert review, I mean, it's that sort of experience, but it's in your living room, so it's really cool. But yeah, this album's fairly slow. There's no blast beats. It's not, they're not trying to follow a lot of the conventions of extreme metal. This is a lot doomier. It's actually, this band is influenced a lot, in my opinion, by post-metal bands like Neurosis, Isis, Pelican, that kind of thing. So if you like that, you're probably going to like this. But I have to say, regardless of everything that I've said, the thing that really makes this album what it is, what makes it a fantastic album, one of the best, this will be in the top 5 this year. When I do my end of the year review and I go through the albums that I thought were the best that I heard this year, this will probably be in the top 5. That's how strongly I feel about this thing. But what really makes this album great is the songwriting. They do an excellent job of oscillating between softer passages and then these bone-crushing, heavy, slow, heavy passages. And the melodies are all fantastic. The vocal delivery and vocal passages on this album are great. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later, but you'll be surprised when you listen to this thing at how good the vocals are, and it sounds to me almost like an homage to Scott Kelly from Neurosis. So if you're into Scott Kelly and you like that sort of vocal style, then I think you're going to like this a lot. It always feels like you're on a journey with this album. You don't have to worry about what the band's going to do next. You don't have to worry about the next riff. All you have to do is sort of just lay back and let the music guide you along this journey, this path. And you're constantly, you're reaching these crests of intensity, and then they're bringing you back down, and then they're raising you back up, and then they're bringing you back down again, and it's like that throughout the whole thing. Because of that, it makes the songs seem really short. Actually, this is not a short album. This is a long album. It's an hour and 13 minutes. There's only 7 tracks. The album starts off with The Blaze is about 10 minutes. Then we got 2 9-minute tracks. Beauty and Falling Leaves is 16 minutes, but I rest assured that if you listen to, for example, Beauty and Falling Leaves, it's 16 minutes, but it feels like 6 minutes. The way that they write these songs, time seems to just fly by, and you're not ever looking at the clock, looking at your phone, looking at your watch, wondering when the song's going to be over, because it's just this captivating, engaging sonic journey, and you don't want it to end. Every single time a song ends on this album, I feel like, damn, I wish that was longer, And it's funny to say because the songs are already super long. So enough of that, though. On to my breakdown of I enjoyed, like I said, several songs on this album. I'm going to focus on 2 that I really liked. The first one is called The Screen, and this is one of my favorites on the whole album. This is the second track on the album. It's 9 minutes and 49 seconds. It's got this really cool, really memorable galloping riff that sustains itself through the entire song, and it's something that just gets stuck in my head. Like I'll be walking around, running errands or just doing stuff in my house, and that riff will be playing in my head. So really, really cool earworm right there. The riff itself is so grating, like the distortion, it sounds literally like something scraping up against a screen of some kind. The way that they use that sound as a way to sort of match the title of the song and the whole thrust of the song, like conceptually it's a very tight sort of song. It's very cool whenever that happens. In songs you get certain sounds that really evoke the meaning and purpose of the track. So very, very clever the way this track was conceived. It's very, very consistent. I want to say about a third of the way through, the song begins to transition into this chord progression that is absolutely crushing. And like I said before, if you have a great stereo, this thing is going to blast. It's going to sound so goddamn good, man. You're going to appreciate it so, so, so much. That secondary riff in this song is absolutely killer. And the chords are in perfect synchrony, I should say, with the guy's screams and with his singing. It's just badass. It sounds, again, his cleans sound a lot to me like Scott Kelly from Neurosis. So the Neurosis comparisons, I believe, are pretty apt for this band. It makes a lot of sense. If you're familiar with Neurosis's discography and you listen to this album, you'll be like, yeah, I can see where they pulled a lot of these influences from. I could see, though, how some people might become impatient with Yob's music because it does sort of just plod along and it's very, very doomy. It's definitely not a buffet of riffs, okay? Maybe each song may contain 4 or 5 major riffs, or maybe even less. But that's just the style of the music. So if you're into stuff that's a lot busier, that's a lot more technical, that's, like like what I was into when I was in college, the more proggy technical stuff, you might not be ready for an album like this just yet. But it's better, in my opinion, just to enjoy the heaviness, the sheer heaviness of the music, and not get bogged down in over-analysis. So The Screen, excellent song. I would recommend it to anybody who's looking for just an entry point to this album and wants a song to start with. Maybe you're on YouTube and you're just searching for tracks off this album. Listen to this song. I know that the lady off of Banger TV didn't really like this song that much, even though she gave the album a very positive review. She didn't like this song. I think this song is one of the best on the whole album. So, but we're going to move on to Beauty and Falling Leaves. This is track 5. Again, this is 16 minutes and 27 seconds. It's the longest song on the album. It starts off pretty slow and subtle, nice acoustic guitar melody or electric guitar clean channel, right? The drums come in second, and then the vocals finally come in third. So the music is slowly building in the amount of layers of sound there are. The overall vibe of the song is very somber, very contemplative. The vocals and the heavy guitar, however, when that heavy guitar comes in, the vocals and the heavy guitar are in perfect sync with one another once again. And it's gonna, whenever you listen to it, man, the thing that really just jumps out is the level of intensity, power, emotion that are packed into those sections, man. It's everything that you would want. If you're into doom or into heavy metal in general, you want stuff that sounds raw, unfiltered, aggressive, powerful, you know, just stuff that'll make your hair stand on end. That's this track in a nutshell. So, but they do a cool, they do a cool thing here. They do a great job. They've done it on other songs on the album, but they do a good job oscillating back and forth between these cleaner sections and the heavier sections. It makes it feel, once again, like you're on some kind of a journey, like they're telling you a story, like you're in the middle of some epic novel, and the novel's got these different twists and turns and rises and crests and falls and dips in the plot line, and you're never really allowed to sort of just settle in. You're constantly being introduced to something new, and it's always very satisfying. So, but again, the vocals are really great. It just shows that you don't need to be one of these elite vocalists. You don't need to be Mike Patton, Maynard James Keenan, Devin Townsend to be able to have effective, powerful, clean vocals. This guy is not going to win American Idol anytime soon, right? I mean, chiefly because he's already signed with a band, but even if he wasn't, I mean, he's not going to win a singing competition anywhere. But the way that the vocals are worked in with the music, it's a perfect match. They meld so well together. The clean vocal passages on this album are fantastic. So there's also, I wanted to say about this particular track. So about 10 minutes in, so everything I've been describing is like the first 10 minutes of the song. After that, they sort of settle into a completely new riff, a completely new section, and that carries the song for most of the rest of the song. It sounds a lot to me like stuff that you would find on Isis, Pelican, sort of that sort of post-metal that's very bright, clean, you know, a little bit uplifting. It's very hard to sort of describe it, but very dreamy also. Again, the song as a whole has a very soothing quality. So this is, funny enough, I was thinking about it as I was listening to it before this review. I was thinking, man, this would be perfect if I was like lying on my back on a raft, you know, in a river somewhere, just floating down the river, or in a pool, you know, on a raft on my back with my iPod and just listening to this song. Man, it's like that. It's that soothing, and to me, it would fit that situation very well. I mean, I would listen to this at any time. I'm just saying it kind of gives me that vibe. That melody, or that, I should say, that riff sort of carries the song for a while there at the end, and then of course they come back to the original guitar melody that started the song out, and then that slowly fades away, and then gradually the song kind of just fades away. It kind of just, this is an epic track. Again, 16 minutes, and Yob does a great job kind of just relaxing the listener into the end of the song. So overall, man, fantastic song. But there's so many fantastic songs on this album. There's only 7 tracks, but there's so many great songs on this album. I can't recommend this album enough. Guys, if you get a chance, please buy this thing. Get it on vinyl, get it on CD, stream it. And if you dug the video, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe below. Let me know what you guys want to see me review in the future. This is Metal Album Reactions. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.